to another Foundation Wednesday morning yoga class. Today's foundation class is called Building Towards the Moon. So we'll be doing a little bit of half moon balancing, which of course involves some hip opening and side body lengthening. Without any more, time, we'll come onto our back and we'll get ourselves started by resetting with our little ramp pose. So go ahead, walk your feet on in. Don't have to be super close or anything. You do not need to be able to touch your heels with your fingers, but you do want to have a nice firm planting of those feet on the floor. We'll press our feet and lift the sacrum off the ground. We're getting a little hip extension here. Bring your left hand in front of your belly button and your right hand to your low back. Then sandwich those two areas together. Just feel like this whole region is consolidating in here, coming together and gathering. This will also start to create a little bit of length for the side body as we consolidate the front and back lines of the body. Take another inhale. Exhale, keep pressing into the feet. Feel as though you could dial your left foot out to the left and your right foot out to the right. They won't actually move, but you should feel this wonderful little corkscrew sensation for the legs, just plugging those legs into those hips. We can start to lift and lower by pressing into our feet, just getting a little lowering, extension, little lowering, extension. Start to take your hands up to the ceiling. We'll keep pulsing. So we just use that little sandwich there to bring a little awareness to the core. We'll stretch out one wrist. So you'll pull your second hand across the four fingers of the first wrist. Doesn't matter which one you start off with. We're going to get them both in. So you're just pulling, giving a little pull back, a little stretch. Release the left wrist, circle it a few times. And even though we don't have the hands at the belly and the low back anymore, still feel like you have the echo of those two things there. Right hand comes up, pull that right palm up towards the ceiling, and then stretch back on the finger. It's getting a little elongation, extension through that wrist. Another big breath here. And exhaling. Release the right wrist, circle it a few times. Pause your pulses, so you'll hold your little ramp pose here. Again, feel the right foot want to dial out to the right, the left foot want to dial out to the left, but they don't actually move. And then we come down all the way, upper, middle, all the way to the lower back. Take your hands behind your head, interlace the fingers and pull your elbows in close. Just gonna do a little twisting here to get it going. Inhale. Not this first one though. Exhale and lift, just gather it all together and lift your shoulder blades off the ground. So we'll hold off on the twist just for this first one. We're just trying to gather deeply into the core and to get a little lift of the shoulder blades, little core connection here. Inhale, lower. Exhale and lift. Everything gathers together and take a little twist to the left. So you don't have to twist big, but it's really just an inch or so. You'll come back through center, inhale, lower. We want to feel deeply, right? It's not so important if the range of motion is real deep. Exhale and lift. Twist to the right. You'll get a little more range of motion over time. And sometimes, honestly, we have an idea in our head of how far we should be able to go, and it's often not the reality. We'll come back through center, inhale, lower. Exhale and lift. Everything gathers together. Twist to the left. Reach your right arm past your left leg and really reach from your right shoulder blade. So we're not living up to someone else's ideals here. We're just connecting to our own real situation. We'll bring our right hand back, inhale and lower. Exhale and lift. Everything gathers together. Twist to the right. Reach left arm past the right leg. Really reach from your left shoulder blade. That'll activate your upper core in a good way here. Left hand comes back, inhale and lower. Exhale and lift. Everything gathers. Twist to the left. Reach your right arm past your left leg, and then reach your left arm past your right arm. Now try and scoot your right fingertips up in line with your left fingertips. They might not actually touch, but that's fine. You're just reaching. You'll bring your hands back behind your head. Inhale and lower. Exhale and lift. Everything gathers. Twist to the right. Reach your left arm past your right leg, and your right arm past your left arm. And then scoot your fingertips so that they're in line with each other. The left arm has to reach a little further. We'll bring those hands back, inhale and lower. One more each way. We're going to hold it for a little bit though. So exhale and lift. Twist to the left. Reach right arm past left leg. Left arm past right arm. Scoot those right fingers up and then pulse here 3 times. Lift your shoulder, come back down. Lift your shoulder, come back down, lift your shoulder, and then hands back all the way down. Inhale. So we're not lowering all the way, it's just like an inch or so. Exhale and left. Twist to the right. Left arm reaches past right leg. Right arm reaches past left arm. Scoot those fingers up in line with the right fingers, and then 3 times here. Lift a little higher, then come back to where you were. Lift a little higher, come back to where you were. Lift a little higher, come back to where you were. Hands come back. Inhale. Oh, so that should be feeling pretty good and warmed up for the core there. Just wiggle your feet wide and do a little windshield wiper here, just side to side with those legs. That'll also be nice to free some stuff up around the pelvis. And then we'll take our windshield wipers and we'll bring ourselves onto hands and knees. So come around onto our quadruped. Get our palms under our shoulders. We'll have our knees underneath of the hips. We'll press those hands into the ground, feel those shoulder blades on the back ribs. And right off the bat, we're gonna kind of start it off with one of my favorite moves. It's a great way to prep for half moon, but we'll be moving a lot. So just kind of listen up, and we're gonna go back and forth between these two. But there's a lot of things happening here. So one step at a time. First, we're going to tuck our toes in our quadruped. That'll help us move a little bit more easily. Starting off with your legs, take your right leg. You're going to roll the right thigh out, and at the same time, kind of roll your left thigh in a little bit here. Then reach your right arm up to the ceiling. You're leaning on your left hand, and you're on your left knee here. So we're bringing our right hand down, our right knee down. You're back in quadruped, all fours, facing the front of the mat. You're going to be on the right side now. Roll the left thigh out, the right thigh in. Your left heel lands, and you reach that left arm up to the ceiling. Lean on your right shoulder blade. So there's just a little opener. It's kind of like modified side plank, a little prep for that. Left hand comes down, left knee comes down, back through quad. So we're opening up the first way we came. Left thigh rolls in, right thigh rolls out, right arm comes up. And then right hand comes down, right knee comes down. You're back in that quad. Right thigh rolls in, left thigh rolls out, left arm comes up. And you'll go back and forth between those two. So as your right thigh rolls out, the right arm reaches up. So that right hand comes down, right knee comes down. Left thigh rolls out, left arm reaches up. Left hand comes down, left knee comes down. As you're opening up to the right, you're leaning on your left scapula, your left shoulder blade. Push that palm into the ground. Feel it connected. As you open up to the left, you're leaning on that right scapula, that right shoulder blade, lengthening the sidelong lines of the body. We do a few more. You can even throw a little backstroke in there. So if you want to take the arm and stroke it up, back, and around, it's another option here for you. This is just a great way to mobilize your hips, get into the shoulders, nice and quick. One more time to the right. One more time to the left. Remember, you can just be reaching the arm up. You don't have to go for this circle. And we'll come back to our quad. Set up for dolphin. Forearms down. Neck can relax. Remember, you can always interlace your fingers as well. Pull your elbows in. Get them right under your shoulders here. With the neck relaxed, looking back at the knees, you'll tuck your toes, push in your forearms, spread your shoulder blades. And then hoist your pelvis up towards the ceiling. Hinging at your hips, spine stays long. Big breath in here. Exhale. Big inhale into your back like a big balloon. Exhale. Keep pushing into the forearms. Keep trying to lift the low ribs away from the floor. It's just about building a little endurance in this dolphin. Keep pushing those forearms. Awaken your shoulders. This will alleviate the neck ultimately. So let's let our neck relax. Push more into the forearms. Lift your low ribs. Bend the knees a little if you have to. It'll actually probably feel nice to bend them a little bit. And everyone, lower knees down. Find child's pose. So you sit your hip back to your heels. You can bring your forehead all the way down onto the ground and take a few big breaths into your whole back. Now come forward. Back in your quadruped. We'll set up this foundation class the way we've been doing it. and getting into the foundation of flexing the hips and squatting, something that's so essential to our movement, really worth practicing every single day. So in your quadruped, just like dolphin, you're going to push into your hands and spread your shoulder blades and tuck the toes, hover the knees, and then hoist your pelvis directly up to the ceiling. It's a really great way to hold down dog with balanced support in your arms and your legs. You really should try not to favor just pushing the weight back into the legs here. We actually want to support our chest and our shoulder heads nice and long and centered there. Walk the hands back towards the feet, and we're going to slide our palms up the shins, past the knees, up the thighs till we stand up tall, and then we're going to walk to the top of the mat. So just finding that extension of the hips from the ground up. Feel free to grab a little water. I'm definitely going to grab a little sip right here. Take care of anything else you want to take care of. Even gonna, excuse me, clear my throat out. And also too, block is nice to have, absolutely not required, but since we are going to be doing like some half moons and stuff like that, the block under the hand, that's one variation of it that really does tend to help people out with balance. So just know that if you do have a block handy, like in the room, it might be nice just to have it within grabbing distance for some of the moves we'll find. But when you're ready, we'll come to mountain pose, stand at the top of the mat, take an inhale, reach your arms forward and up. And then exhale, hinge your hips, folding forward, hands come to the ground, right foot steps back, right knee comes down. You can lower the top of the foot and inhale, arms reach forward and up, lengthening the spine. Hands come down, step back to plank. Lower your knees, lower all the way to the ground, head of the arm bone stay lifted. Pull back your hands in Cobra, root your tailbone, inhale. Press into your palms, straighten the elbows. Up through plank, hinge your hips, fold yourself in half for downward facing dog using the abdominals. Right foot steps forward, left knee comes down. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. 90-90 low lunge, getting long in the side body. Hands come down. Load your palms, step to the top of the mat. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Exhale, hinge the hips, hands come down. Step the left leg back, left knee comes down. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Reach up at those shoulders, hands come down. Plant the palms, step that right leg back, meets the left. Plank, lower the knees, lower all the way to the floor. Head of the arm bone stay lifted. Pull back your hands in Cobra. Inhale, root your tailbone. And then push in the palms, rise up, do plank, hinge your hips, downward facing dog. Big breath here. Left foot steps forward, right knee comes down. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. You're welcome to keep the toes tucked. Hands come down, step to top of the mat. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Exhale, hinge at your hips. This will start off the same way. Right foot steps back, right knee comes down. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Then for a moment, take your right hand in front of the belly button, left hand to the low back. Sandwich them together. Then bring the right hand down inside that left foot. Left arm to the right head of the arm bone, right where your right arm's plugging into the shoulder socket. Keep it here. Remember that move we did in our little pre-flow in quadruped. Same action for the legs. We're gonna open the left leg up, send it back, roll that right thigh in just a little bit, modified side plank. Right hand is down. We're making sure it's directly underneath that right shoulder head. Left hand, once that right shoulder is secure, can come to the top of the left hip. In just a few seconds here, we're gonna lift and lower just a few times here. Lifting and lowering this left leg. This is a big challenge for this outer left hip. So try to get it really fired up there. In just another 3 seconds of lifting and lowering that left leg. Last 3, 2, and 1. Step your left leg up to your right hand, tuck the right toes and turn to the right, side lunge to the right, side lunge to the left. We're gonna go back and forth between those two. For this first one, really encourage yourself to move the hips back in space to really get deep into that hip flexion. That'll also help to elongate the inner adductors of the legs here as we get further back in our hip. One more time, side lunge to the right, and then land your hands, walk them back to the front of the mat, step your right foot to meet your left. Exhale, inhale, arms reach forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands come down, left foot steps back. Left knee comes down, and inhale, arms reach forward and up. You'll bring your left hand down in front of your torso, right hand comes behind your back. Just for a moment here, sandwich them together. Then left hand comes down inside that right foot, and we'll bring our right hand on top of the left head of the arm bone. Right leg goes back, left thigh rolls in a bit, modified side plank. So we have this left hand directly underneath that left shoulder. Left knee's underneath the left hip. From there, my right hand can come on top of the right hip, and I'll start to lift and lower it. Just giving a little pulse to the legs here. Getting some good firing up for that glute medius. Feel that left hand is plugging onto the back ribs. Keep pressing into that left palm. And then we'll hold that right leg up, step it up to the left hand, turn to the left, and side lunge to the left. So you sit back in that left hip, and then press that left foot, sit back in that right hip. Back and forth a few times. You can move hands from hip to hip, or you could keep your hands up on these hip creases as you move it from side to side. One more time, side lunge to the left, and then the hands walk to the front. Step your left foot to meet your right. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Stand up tall, exhale, hinge at the hips. Hands come down. Step or give a little hop back to plank pose. Lower the knees or not. Head of the arm bone stay lifted all the way to the ground. Take another Cobra, pull back with the hands, root your tailbone. Option to reach the arms back in locust. Hands come down, press into the palms, rise up. Through plank, fold yourself in half, down dog. Try not to pick up the hands here. Step the right foot forward, the left foot forward. Hinge at the hips. Exhale, inhale, arms reach forward and up. Stand up tall, exhale, hinge at the hips, hands come down. Left foot steps back, right foot steps back. Palms are down, lower knees are not. Head of the arm bone stay lifted. Pull back your hands in Cobra. Root your tailbone, pushing your palms, rise up through plank, hinge your hips, downward facing dog. Whew. Left foot steps forward, try not to pick up the hands. Right foot steps forward. Exhale, inhale, arms reach forward and up. Last one like that. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Hands come down, left foot steps back. Right foot steps back. Lower the knees or not. Head of the arm bone stay lifted. Cobra or locust, up to you. Pull back or reach back the hands. Inhale, hands come down. Press the palms, straighten the elbows. Hinge the hips, downward facing dog. One more big breath here. Now step your left foot just halfway up the mat. It's underneath your left hip, and pull your chest over top of your hands. You're in a little standing L here. So get your palms flat on the ground. If that feels really far away, you put them up on blocks. We get some kind of connection of those palms into something solid on the ground. Bend your left knee more if you feel like your hands are really far away, and sit back into your hip. Now walk the hands up that left leg here, one at a time. We'll find ourselves in our little airplane pose, strong here at that left leg on the ground. Just 3 times, we're gonna look at that left foot. Feel like you could dial your left foot out to the left, and it's gonna lift your right hip a little bit open to the right, and then close it right back off into that bent knee airplane. So we're supporting our left leg with our right hand on top of it, left hand on the outer left hip. Pushing that left foot, rotate the hip open to the right, and then close it back off. So feel really good. We're gonna open it up one more time, a little half moon opening, and then bring that right knee behind the left ankle for seated spiral. So you sit all the way down on the ground. If you're like me, a little tighter in the hips, you are welcome to sit up on a block. From here, roll your shoulders back one at a time. So we just have our little cross-legged seated position. Of course, if you're ever feeling a little more open, you want to go for something a little deeper, go for it. I find most of the time, at least the first one, the first seated twist, just feels good to do it regular. So we'll slow our shoulder rolls down. We're opening up for goddess. Turn to the right, land your right heels down, and turn the toes out here. So strong in our goddess here, sitting into that seat. From here, we're gonna reach the arms forward and up. And just 3 times here, we're gonna get a little fold forward, little either reaching the hands towards the ground or actually tapping them on the ground, or reach them up. So you're just folding forward at the hips, bringing it down, a little tap, and you'll reach it back up. And one more time, we'll fold forward, a little tap, bring it back up, reach it back up. We're windmilling to the front of the mat. Hands land, left foot steps back to meet the right. Inhale, fill up the back. Exhale, step that right foot about halfway up. Load that right leg and bring your chest over top of the hands. We are leaning into those hands. We have the elbows straight here. Remember, you can always find your blocks and put your hands up on blocks. Feels like the floor is too far away. Bend your right knee more. Sit back in your right hip. There are all kinds of ways to get our hands connected to the floor, but we got to work for it. Then walk those hands up that right leg. We're going to pause with the left hand on the thigh above the knee and the right hand on the outer right hip. Look at your right foot. Feel like you could dial it out to the right, opening up that left hip to the left, and then closing it off, rearranging it. Pressing that right foot, opening up that left hip to the left, and then closing it back off, realigning it. One more time, push that right foot, dial that left hip open to the left, and then bring your left knee behind your right ankle, seated spiral. So you can either kick your bottom leg out. If you're comfortable sitting flat on the ground, that's great. I personally prefer to be up on top of my block here. Helps the hips even out a little bit. And then we're gonna roll the shoulders back one at a time. Breathe with it. It's amazing what a little bit of mobilization can do for you. Turn to the left, heels come in, toes turn out, find your goddess. So you take your time, open those hips up. They were just closed off and crossed, so now we're opening them up, giving them some space. Arms will reach up, and we'll get a little hinge of the hips. You can also keep your hands on your hips. You don't have to reach the hands down. Stand up tall, long spine, so we're not rounding the back and collapsing. We're hinging the hips, bringing it forward, rising back up, standing up, rooting the tailbone. So you're coming forward with the arms, it's just the fingertips. Get a little tap down, and then they rise back up. Then make the arms into a little T, windmill back to the front of the mat. Right foot steps back to meet the left, down dog. Right leg is down, left leg lifts up. Bend the left knee and don't move your pelvis at all, but just roll your left thigh externally out. So you're externally rotating the left leg bone inside the hip socket, but you're not moving your pelvis at all, the bone structure around your hip socket. One more breath here, pushing the right toes, pushing the hands equally, lift your pelvis higher without tipping it. And then left foot steps up towards the hands, open up for warrior two. Warrior two here, we're gonna flip the left hand, exhale, reverse. Come back through warrior two. Inhale, left forearm to left thigh, right arm sweeps over. Framing out the right ear. Rise back up. Big inhale, flip the left hand, reach up, reverse, and then back through center. Warrior two, left forearm, left thigh, right arm sweeps over. One more time, rise it up, inhale, and reverse. Then come back through, inhale. Forearm, thigh, right arm, sweep it on over. Then from this warrior variation, you'll bring your right hand on top of your right hip. Hop your right foot just about like a foot closer than where it is now. And we're gonna bend our right knee and then press into it and straighten it, loading the left leg a little bit. Bend your right knee, press into it and straighten it. Bend your right knee, press into it and straighten it. This time, you can bend your right knee, press into it and load that left leg. So as you straighten, you find a little bent knee, half moon. Now you can stay like that. I kind of like to joke around. It's the teapot, short and stout move. Here's your handle, the forearm on the leg, securing you, and you're pouring it out, but you're not spilling out the core. Keep the core engaged. Remember when we had our hands in the front and the back of the body? Still feel that echo of the hands there, squeezing the front line in to the back line. So whether you're practicing tipping, you've been holding this for a little bit, everyone bring right hand down inside that left foot, right foot lands behind you for a little twisted crescent. You can have your right hand up on a block as well. Open up to the left and release the right ear to the right shoulder. Press into that right big toe. Keep that right glute activated. Left hand comes down. Remove the block from under that right hand. Step that left leg back. Lower the knees. Lower all the way to the ground. Head of the arm bones. Stay lifted. Wide cobra. Fingertips come off the mat so they're in line with the shoulders and just slightly off of the mat on those widest edges. Come up onto your fingertips, point your elbows up so you're tenting your hands, relax your forehead. Inhale, fill up your back, root your tailbone, pull the shoulder blades down. Exhale, lift into the core. Another big inhale. And hands come in, palms down, press into them, straighten the elbows, hinge the hips. Think of folding yourself in half to find that down dog using the strength of the abdominals. Right leg will lift. We're going to open up our hip. Right knee bends, open up the right leg inside the hip socket. So we don't want to move the bone structure around the pelvis. That's what you see when people start to really torque their pelvis open. That's movement in the pelvis, which is not inherently a bad thing, but we're trying to get some movement in the hip. So I need to keep that pelvis still in order to open up the hip. Step the right foot forward and rise for warrior two. You still have that right leg externally rotated here. We set it up in down dog. Flip the right hand, reach up and reverse your warrior. Whoo, the exhale helps you give some space to that right side. Come back through center, inhale, right forearm to right thigh, left arm sweeps over the left ear, pushing out left foot, get long in the side body. Come back through, inhale. Right arm up, reverse. Back through, inhale. Forearm thigh and left arm over, reaching. Come back through, inhale. Reverse. Back through, inhale. Forearm thigh and left arm sweeps over. Now here we're going to bring our left hand on top of our left hip. Hop that left foot about a foot closer to your right foot. 3 times, bend the left knee, and then press that left knee, straighten it. Load that right leg a little bit. Bend that left knee, push into that left knee, and straighten it. Bend that left knee, push into it, straighten it. And then this time, as you bend it, push into it, you can load the right leg. Again, it's helpful, just like in bridge, to imagine you were looking at your right foot, trying to dial it out to the right. So you try to dial it out to the right there. That'll help keep that left hip lifted. Remember, you can be working the teapot move here today, just learning how to tip it into that right leg. That's another great place to be. It's a foundation class. We'll bring our left hand down inside that right foot. Left hand lands at the back of that twisted crescent. I'm usually up on a block with my left hand for this move. Right arm can come up or it can stay down low by your hips, but open up to the right and release your left ear to your left shoulder. I see so many people's necks working so hard for them. And then it's like the number one thing everyone complains about. Oh, my neck hurts, my neck hurts. And then, you know, okay, well, when are we getting a little chance to relax, to release, to take care of it? No, we just keep looking up with it. Right hand comes down, remove the block from the left hand, step back with the right leg, plank pose, lower your knees or not, all the way to the floor, wide cobra. So you want to come up in line with your shoulders, onto your fingertips, tent your hands, elbows point up. Relax your forehead down. Inhale, pull back with the shoulder blades and root your tailbone. One more like that, big inhale. Hands come back in, press, rise up, plank pose, fold yourself in half, down dog. Make your way to the top of the mat. Try not to pick up the hands, but as you come up, you actually press more into the palms to get that feedback in the floor. We'll grab a little water and we'll put these 3 sequences together for one final building towards the half moon sequence. So it'll all kind of just culminate in a few versions of half moon. Obviously, as we travel through them, feel free to continue with bent knee, support, all that kind of stuff. We'll have some options to grab the blocks and stuff like that too. So just know, you know, whatever one you're feeling, that's the one you want to go with. There's not necessarily a right or a wrong final position for this pose. You know, don't just think of like everything straightening out as being like, okay, we got it. Sometimes it's actually more challenging, harder to have the knee bent. There's just different benefits that we're getting from it. So you go with the one you feel like you're getting the most out of today as we build towards that half moon. We'll meet in our Tadasana. We'll be standing up tall at the top of the mat. Inhale, arms are up. Exhale, hands come to the floor. Right foot back, right knee down. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Consolidate, right hand comes in front, left hand behind. Just sandwich them together here, exhale. Then right hand comes down inside the left foot. Send that left leg back, roll that right thigh in, modified side plank. Hold this one here. Reach that left arm up. Feel that security, that power, that strength here. Option to bend the left knee and grab hold of that left shin or ankle. This is just an option. If you are stretching your quad on the left side, you're still rooting your tailbone. Still imagine like you have one hand in front of your belly button, one hand at your low back, and sandwich them together. Then step your left foot up to your right hand, tuck the right toes, turn to the right, and side lunge to the right. We're gonna hold this one here. You can twist to the right with your torso, or you can land your left hand down. Maybe lift that right arm up. Still release your left ear. A little stretch for the back. Land the hands, walk them back to the front of the mat. Slide your left foot back so it's underneath your left hip. Pull your chest forward, come into standing L. Lean on your palms. Elbows are straight, shoulders are on the back ribs. Then walk those hands up that left leg. Slowly, right hand will rest on top of that left thigh, just above the knee. Left hand's on the outer left hip crease. We're just doing this one time. Look at that left foot. Feel like you could dial the left foot out to the left as the right hip opens up, finding a bent knee, half moon. You can bring your left forearm on the inside of that left thigh. Remember, we could find a block, bring it underneath the left hand, just to have the floor a little closer. We're not sinking into our block. We're actually using it to press into the floor and lift up higher. Right knee comes behind the left ankle, seated spiral. I'm up on a block here, but you can definitely have the legs crossed, sitting flat. Left hand is down by your side. Right arm reaches up, frames out the side of your face. Then bend the left elbow and reach over to the left with the right arm. Come back up, right hand down by your side, left arm up. Bend the right elbow and reach that left arm over to the right. Rise back up. Turn to the right, goddess. This time we're just gonna hold it. So we'll turn those heels in, turn those toes out. Hands come on top of the thighs, and then just press enough into your arms that your elbows get like straightened out here. We're really long on our back. We can even tuck our chin in towards our chest a little bit here, and then breathe. Full breath into the back. Down and out through the feet. Two more like that. Big breath here. Just pushing into our arms, trying to straighten out those elbows, giving a lot of space and support to the whole body. Really nice. And then from here, we'll reach the arms out like a little capital T. It's almost like they're weightless now. We're gonna windmill back to the front of the mat. Left leg goes up and back. Three-legged down dog, bend the left knee, and this time circle your hip. So pull the left thigh in, circle it out, back and around. In, out, back around. One more time. And then you're gonna switch directions. You'll go back out, in and around, back out, in and around. Extend that left leg up. Go ahead, step that left foot forward, rise up, warrior two. One time, reverse, left arm up, come back through center. Forearm thigh, warrior variation, right hand on top of right hip. Load that left leg, you can hop that right foot in a little bit closer, tip it out. Maybe you're working the tip out today. Maybe you're holding that bent knee, half moon like we just did a second ago. You can also start to reach through the right leg, reach through the left leg, reach through the left arm, reach through the right arm. Again, your block is helpful, but we don't aim to crash into the ground. We wouldn't want the moon to do that here on Earth either, right? We want it up there, lifted, a healthy space away from us. So give yourself that amount of space too. Then right hand comes down inside left foot. Right foot lands behind us. Right knee lands on the ground. Twisted crescent on the knee here. Don't collapse this front right hip. Squeeze your right glute, lift that hip away from the floor, rotate open to the left by leaning on that right shoulder blade. You can even widen your right hand out. And honestly, it can't be too far back behind you here. And then left hand is on top of the left leg. I'm not pushing and cranking my spine open. It's just supportive here, helping to keep it long. So I could take my left hand away and it wouldn't change it much. In fact, you can reach it up if you want, but you're also welcome to have it on the leg for a little extra support. And then to unwind here, we just bring our left hand down, walk that right hand back in, lift the right knee, left leg steps back, lower knees or not, head of the arm bone, stay lifted. Wide cobra, fingertips off the mat, up on those fingertips, elbows up, forehead down. Inhale, pull with the hands, root your tailbone. Hands come back in, push into your palms, straighten the elbows, hinge at your hips, downward facing dog. Oh. Try not to pick up the hands. Step your feet one at a time, hinge at the hips. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, hands come down. Left foot steps back, left knee comes down. Lower knee, inhale, arms up. Left hand in front, right hand behind. Sandwich them together like you're trying to squeeze them with an exhale. Left hand comes down, right leg goes back, modified side plank. Holding steady here, left hand under the left shoulder, left knee underneath that left hip. Right hand can stay on top of the right hip, or you could reach it up. This is half moon on a knee. In a lot of ways, it's almost more challenging than half moon. Again, it just has different challenges, different benefits. Same thing, option to bend the right knee, open up the right quadricep here. Quads, big knee extenders. So we're gonna get a little flexion of the knee, a little stretch into those quads. Keep rooting your tailbone. Still feel like you have one hand in front of your belly, one hand in front of your back, squeezing together. Then release your right leg, step your right foot up to your left hand, tuck the left toes, turn to the left, and one side lunge to the left. You can add a little rotation towards the back of the mat. You can even bring your right hand down with your left arm up. Up to you. So good. We'll lower that left hand down, walk our hands back to the front of the mat. Palms land, right foot slides back, standing L. So you're up on those hands, elbows are straight, shoulders are on the back ribs, sit back in your hip more if you have to. Walk the hands up the right leg. It's gonna be one time here, left hand on that right knee, just above it, and right hand on that outer right hip. Look at your right foot. Feel like you could dial it out to the right, but it won't actually move on you. What it does is it torques the pelvis and lifts it on top of that right hip. And even though we're externally rotating in the pelvis, we are still neutral. We're still driving that tailbone, rooting it. Left knee comes behind right ankle. Sit down for seated spiral. You're either up on a block like I am here, or you're all the way flat on the ground, but find something that's comfortable for your hips. Right hand comes down by your side, left arm reaches up. Bend your right elbow and reach over to the side. Oh, so nice here. We'll get like 2 breaths. Breathing through my lips to allow some of the stuff around my jaw to just like release its natural tension. Come back up. Left hand by its side, right arm up. Bend the left elbow as you reach over. Take like 2 more here. Really root your right hip down as you're reaching the right arm over. It'll come back up. Goddess, turn to the left, unwrap the legs, you'll rise up, heels are in, toes are out. So we have our hands up on top of the thighs. We're straightening out the elbows as much as we can, rooting the tailbone, and then 3 breaths into our back, really full. From here, arms reach out. I got a little capital T. Windmill hands back to the top of the mat, and your right leg goes up and back. 3-legged down dog, bend the right knee, circle it, in, out, back, around, in, out, back, and around, in, out, back, and around. Then switch directions. So you're just trying to move. Leg bone inside that hip socket. Right leg drives back. And from here, step that right foot up, warrior 2. Right leg is forward, reverse. Inhale, warrior variation. Left hand on top of left hip. Load that right leg. Option to teapot, short and stout. Lean on that right leg. Feel that support. You could stay with leaning. You could also reach your right arm down, reach your left arm up. Extend through your legs. Now that will kind of straighten your knees, but they don't have to straighten. You're absolutely welcome to keep a little bend into them, especially that right knee. Help the hip secure itself. Long in that left side body. Remember the echo. One hand in front, one hand behind. Consolidate the core, squeeze it together. Left hand comes inside the right foot. Left toes are down behind us at the back of the mat. Left knee lands. Twisted crescent with the left knee down. Twist open to the right. So you can rest your right hand just on this right leg. I just like this. It's a nice support. I'm not cranking my right hand, but I'm just letting it rest here, giving me support from the top. Option to have it up, of course. And squeeze your left glute. Don't let that left hip collapse to the ground. It's not going to lead to good things ultimately. Right hand comes down. Lift your left knee, step your right leg back. Lower your knees or not. Head of the arm bones stay lifted. And this time, bring your hands under your forehead. Bend your knees and windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Just a nice little way to unwind and release around that spine. And then after a few windshield wipers, we can send our legs long. We'll flip around onto our back. Take a little supine, figure 4. So cross your right ankle over that left thigh. Rotate that right thigh outward. Feel that external rotation. Option to keep the left foot on the ground or to lift the left leg. You could also tie your hands behind your left leg and push your leg into your hands. Don't pull your leg towards you. Push it. That'll actually get you more space in that lumbar spine, more opening for the hip. And switch your legs. Of course, you can take this for longer. If you're really liking that, you want a few more breaths, stick around for longer. But when you're ready, cross left ankle over right thigh. Roll that left thigh out. Start it off the same, just breathing. Another option to have right leg lifted, interlace the fingers and press. You can uncross that left ankle. Bring yourself into Shavasana. Knees can knock in, tailbone roots. course, you're welcome to stay Shavasana for longer. Just pause the recording, hit play when you like. Take another inhale, fill it all up all the way to the farthest reaches of the torso. And when you're ready, let that go with a little exhale. Wiggle fingers and toes. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. And then gather the limbs in towards your torso. You get a little rock from side to side. And make your way over to whatever feels like a comfortable seated position. I like to use my top arm just to help me sit upright with as little effort as possible. And we'll arrive and just feel this alignment of hips, shoulders, the skull. Take another breath in here. Just this moment to bring it in, side out. The light in me honors the light that shines in each of you. I bow to that light, which truly ties us all together as one. Salutations and praise the light.